Welcome onto this morning's call. So I just want to make sure that you can actually hear my voice and see my screen. And if you can, please just raise your hand or just type into the little question chat box there that you're okay and you can actually hear my voice. Okay, thanks very much for that. So this morning we have quite a few people registered on, but if this morning still being the January tax month for most of us, if it's going to be anything like last week, we had a few people coming in quite a bit later, and some people who registered weren't able to make it. And I'm thinking, because we're still in January, we might have something similar this morning. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually, normally if there's a lot of people on, I would have you all muted because there's too many background noises. But what I'm going to do is I will unmute you. The rule is if there is background noise where you are, I'm going to mute you back on again because it does interfere with the other people. And let's rather have it more engaging if we're able to talk. If there are too many background noises and we mute it, then we'll just use the chat box. But for now, the people who are in, there's only a few of us so far, so let's start with Ian. I'm trying to unmute you, but it's showing that you are muted on your own side. And I think it's just gone off there. So Ian, in theory, I should be able to hear your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Ah, yes, Ian, I can. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, so we know that you're unmuted.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to let's try and unmute Jer. So Jer, in theory, you're unmuted now. Okay, Jer, you said you had your volume off. So I was saying, in theory, you're unmuted. So if you speak, we should be able to hear you in theory. And that doesn't seem to be true for Jer. Okay, Jer, we'll keep you.
Hi, Rudy.
Oh, there we go. Okay, fantastic. I can hear you. And then we've also got David on the call. So David, let's see if we can unmute you. Hello, David.
Good morning.
Okay, fantastic. All right, guys. So at this stage of the game, there's only the three of you on. There's probably another 4 or 5 people who've registered. So we'll see if they come in a little later or if something else come up in their world. So first question is for each of you, what is the weather like where you are this morning? So Ian, where you are, what's the weather like outside with you guys this morning?
Glorious blue sky.
Sorry, Ian, I couldn't actually hear that. Just say that again, please.
It's glorious blue sky. Very nice.
Ah, blue sky. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Good, let's move over to David. With you, what's the weather like this morning with you?
Grey and freezing.
Grey and freezing. Good stuff. And Jer, over there in Ireland, what's it like with you guys?
It's grey and damp.
Okay. Good stuff. It is what it is. So I must say, with where I am this morning in the Midlands, it is, I'm stuck inside a thick fog. So, good stuff. Okay, so hey, let's go on to the first screen. So, what was your biggest win in the last week? So let's start with Ian. Ian, what was your biggest win in the last week?
Sitting down with Graham, and we've decided, and with Sarah, she came later, to go with the pod structure. So we've had a few staff changes recently, and
Okay.
we've been listening to what he's. So that's the biggest one. The decision's been made, and we've put names into pods already, and we'll be moving with that very shortly.
Hey, fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so you guys have made the decision to go the pod structure and you're really sort of shifting people around. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Let's go to David. David, what was your biggest win in the last week?
I've done quite big steps in our zero migration, which is it's sort of pity, but we're moving quite quickly with talking to clients and just moving or convincing them to do the move.
Okay, brilliant. And have you had a lot of people coming back and saying, no, we're definitely not doing that, or what are you finding the mood to be?
Yeah, I guess that's what makes it a little bit complicated. Everyone's got different views. Someone just says, whatever, I don't mind, and some of them are starting to feel uncomfortable or not secure with it, so they sort of say, oh, well, can't we hold off? And some are just running with it so fast that they're expecting results within seconds.
Okay, fantastic.
So it's managing all of that.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the case. And I guess, you know, the more passion you have when you go and tell them about the amazing thing that they absolutely have to have, the more they're inclined to take your side. But, you know, even with that, there will always be...
Does David use it for his own? Does David use it for his own firm? Because that's what this is Ian speaking.
Yeah.
Yes, I've moved it. I've moved my own books to Xero. I mean, we've been using it for some time, but we're sort of doing a push because of losing our current bank feed solution. And so, to avoid going back to manual entry of bank statements, we've got to move everyone, and we've got to convince everyone that it's the way to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Good question. And then, Jer, over to you. What was your biggest win in the past week? Jer, are you still there?
Sorry, Rudy, I had you on mute. Can you hear me?
No problem. Yes, can hear you. Thank you very much. So what was your biggest win in the past week then?
I think that there's been two. So on a kind of a structural basis, we've looked a lot at outsourcing, and we've got a test job working, and we've got communication going with our chosen provider at the moment about moving towards bookkeeping, outsourcing our bookkeeping solution. And I've had a discussion with two clients in relation to trialing that. And secondly, on a job win front, we got re-engaged with a particular client for a piece of due diligence work, which hopefully will turn out to be quite beefy over time.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, that's brilliant. And I see that Matt's joined us as well. So Matt, let's see if we can unmute you here. In theory, Matt, you should be unmuted now.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning, Matt. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Thank you very much. So welcome on this morning's call. So Matt, last week or so, just before we go, are you still in Spain or are you back in Glasgow yet?
No, I'm still in Spain. I'm here till a week on Sunday. So
Okay,
another and a half to go.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're sitting on the beach every day, but hey, what is your biggest win in the past week?
The biggest one of the past week is I think I've got a good handle and a definition for the tax manager job. A good job description done. But
Fantastic.
today I'm going to communicate to some agencies.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, hey, that's fantastic. So let's go over to the next the next screen there. So one-word answers, your quarterly goals and percentage completed for each. Now, I know for some people this is always I'm on the spot, I can't remember what my quarterly goals were. So that's exactly why I'm asking the question, because it's just reminding you for yourself what your quarterly goals were. So shall we start with Ian again? We'll just keep the same rhythm going. So Ian, can you recall just one-word answers, what are your quarterly goals, but then most importantly, what's the percentage completed for each at this point in time? So Ian?
I've been working on pricing and QEQ, and I'd say 50% there now.
Oh, nice, good, excellent.
And the other quarterly goal, which I set when it came over to the meeting, the quarterly meeting, was the KPIs, and we've actually, again, Graham and I and Sarah are making progress on that, so we're already probably at 20% on that.
Okay, fantastic. And did you have a third one, or was it the two main ones?
No, those were the main ones.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, they were the main ones.
Okay, good. So that's Ian. Then David, let's go over to you. What were your quarterly goals and percentage completed for each of those?
Yeah, my main one was the migration of a lot of our clients, so that's, I'd say, 60% done. Then I have KPIs, 10, and training 10.
Okay, good. Then, thanks for that. So let's go to Jerry. Jerry, what was your 3 quarterly goals and percentage complete for each of those?
One was to put in place a proper bookkeeping process, so I would say we're 40% there on that with the outsourcing involvement. And
okay.
Then was documented tactical marketing plan, and again we have a lot of that in place but not documented clearly enough, so I'd say we're at about 40% there as well. And then the rollout of our sales process, and I'd say we're probably closer to 60% on that, in that the process is all documented. We've had one round of training on it with the staff and another one scheduled for this Friday.
Hey, fantastic. Good stuff. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Matt, over to you. What are your main quarterly focus areas?
The main one is the recruitment, and I'm just going to this up. And the recruitment, I would say we're probably about 20% through it or something like that.
Okay.
The other one was the business generation, and that's me changing my focus. I would say we're probably about 40% through that.
Okay.
The third one, looking to outsourcing, and I think particularly tied to making tax digital and what we intend to do there, and there I've done nothing, but today is the first day of that one. I'm going to do some work on that today, and that's in the diary, so hopefully make some progress on that today.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, thanks for that, Matt. And then I can see Jeff has joined as well. Jeff, we're going to try and unmute you as well so we can hear you talking as well, so let's see. Jeff, it looks like I've been...
Hi there.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Welcome to the call. So, Jeff, just to share, what are your 3 quarterly goals and percentage completed for each of those?
The first one was our social media policy document and what we're going to do, and we're a bit behind on that. We're I reckon about 50% on there, but not where it should be.
Okay.
The second was the book, and there was that's from our point of view, it's done. It's with the publisher. It went off yesterday, so that's 100%. And the categorization of our clients into different sort of A, B, C's, and D's, that's all been done, so that's 100%. So 2 are okay, and 1's more to do. We just had to stop it in January. I gave up on it, and we said we agreed that we're starting in February.
Absolutely.
too much going on.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, hey, well done everyone. I know, yes, January is a tough one for a lot of us, but good stuff. Okay, so let's go to the next screen here. What is your one biggest project this week? And for some of you that may be tax, and I know some of you who are not on this call this morning, it's definitely tax, but some others might have different. So what's your one biggest project this week? Let's go in the same routine again. So Ian, for you, what's your one biggest project this coming week?
Yeah, it's continuing with the defining the pods and actually communicating that to the senior managers would be the main one. So I'm sitting down with Graham again tomorrow. I've got time penciled in for that. So the pod structure and basically things there.
Fantastic. Okay, so you're shifting the whole thing into the pod structure. I definitely want to ask you a bit more about that soon, but not right now. But okay, so that's your biggest project this week. Fantastic. Okay. David, over to you. What is your one biggest project this coming week?
I am going to put out an advert to recruit a new bookkeeper.
Okay, so you're looking for a bookkeeper?
I've procrastinated on this decision, but it's going to happen this week.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. So, Jer, over to you. What is your one biggest project this coming week?
I think it's actually a job-specific piece of work, so it's a communication that needs to go back to a client in relation to a structure that we put in place for them a couple of years ago, and they're after getting a little bit of cold feet. I think Colin may have spoken about it last week.
Jeff's here anyway. He's working away. Yeah.
So we just need to get that communication right, because we've really done nothing wrong, and they've actually got huge benefit out of the structure, and we just need to make sure we get the communication back to them correctly.
Okay, so Gerald, I'm going to just put it back to you. I know that's a big project for you guys, and that's a in the business type thing. If there was something for on the business, even if it's a smallish project, what might it be?
Yeah, on the business, it's our AML project, where we're updating all of our AML documentation at present, and one of the team are heading that, so we've got weekly targets to hit. So it's making sure we hit those targets for this week.
Okay. Sorry, Joe, can I just ask you, I missed the word there. You're updating your which documentation?
anti-money laundering documentation.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. So that's for Jer. Then, Matt, what is your one biggest project this coming week?
Well, the recruitment continues, but that's calls. The biggest project this week is...
But if you did that, students would take them, and surely you do more sort of studio flats than you would do anything else.
Sorry, Matt, did you say it's a recruitment there?
Sorry, I was saying the recruitment thing's carrying on, but the biggest project in the coming week is having a look at making tax digital. Folks should be doing their projects there, and probably giving Jeff a phone in that, actually. And picking his brains about Jeff's brain.
Okay.
Pleasure. I can show you where we are we've done our first draft of our document, and we're now willing to draft on that. So it's with the publisher. So yeah, I'd be delighted to share that.
When could you do that, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. I'm seeing it's not back from publisher. The second draft isn't back yet. As soon as it is, I can send it on to you.
Magic. Really appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Good stuff. Okay, Matt. And I know that with Jeff, I was trying to speak to him earlier this week, but he was crazy busy, so it may only happen in February, but good stuff. Okay, fantastic. And then last person here to ask, Jeff, your one biggest project this week?
145 tax returns to go. Sorry.
Absolutely. Okay, totally get it.
Send them across to us, Jeff. We've got a bit of capacity now with our new tax manager.
Oh, terrible. This is just hateful.
Melissa's scratching for things to do now.
Oh, it's quite a problem for a tax manager in January. Good stuff. Okay, let's go to the next screen then. So, roadblocks questions, what do you need help with right now? Well, let's just pop through the list quickly. So, Ian, is there anything specific that you need help with right now this week? Or are you okay?
I'm stumbling on the pricing because not for this forum, but I may need help with you, Rudy, on that, because I've got the QEQ area, and then we've got the value pricing area, and we have got a wide spread of work that we do for clients, and it's bringing the two together or keeping them separate. I'm going around in circles at the moment, so that is a big block for me. So I have stalled on the pricing there.
Okay.
And then the more I read it, the more I realise every client is different, and we're different. So I'm going around in circles at the moment.
Okay. So definitely in this program, if you ever find yourself going in circles, get yourself booked into my diary straight away, because it'll help you get out of that. So maybe after this call, just make sure that you book in, just send me an email, something, or book into my diary. You can do it through the Black Belt site, or just send me an email, and we'll get you in for a 20 as soon as possible, and I'll help you in that stuff, just to see where you've got to and what the next step is.
Okay.
There's actually no reason to be stuck.
A very minor point, which I'll go into a minor point on the pods is that do we call them teams? Do we call them pods? What do people? What do the team? What they feel best? Do you think?
Most people that I know about who are doing this kind of thing just call it pods, but I think it's much. It's really your and your team's personal choice. But I've definitely known people to call it pods.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
So let me just go on to the others as well then quickly. So David, anything that you need my help with right now? Are you okay?
Spiritual, because we're recruiting one person, I've got to get rid of another person, so I've got to go through that. But I think I'm okay with that.
Okay, good. Have you got an HR person that you can call on that got in the background, or?
Yes, well, I've got sort of HR support that sort of taught me through the documentation. But this person is in their probation period, so it shouldn't be so tricky.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Yes, you're on the right track there. Good stuff. Jer, for you, anything specific that you guys need help with right now?
There's probably a few things, but one thing that I would like to get maybe David and Jeff's view on is the value of bookkeeping. We're struggling to sell the value of it, and it's constantly been a problem for our practice. Maybe it's because of the size of the clients we have, but they want us to be able to do everything for them. We made the mistake of probably not segregating bookkeeping and everything else initially, and now we're trying to segregate it, and it's to get the value message out to clients. And I don't know how, Jeff, maybe you would have, in your practice, have approached that.
Yeah, the way we sort of put ourselves in a client's position and realise what are they trying to achieve. So it's either time saving, either if they're doing it themselves. What sort of size clients are the size-wise are your clients you want to put through this process?
They're probably the small type clients of cafes, restaurants, which would be volume heavy, but tax poor in terms of their want to pay fees. But they're the kind of people that want, and they need for their business quarterly numbers, or they need to know how they're doing throughout the year. So, for instance, as an example, there's one, it's a coffee shop that does food as well, but they're looking at maybe opening up a few other outlets. So they need good, close advice, but they just seem to not see the value in bookkeeping side of it, and it's kind of something that, you should be able to do that quite easily, or we'll do it ourselves, but invariably if they do it, they won't do it right.
Yeah, I mean, I see something like that is a really easy value proposition, because if you say, fine, that the books, if we look after the books, we're producing at you whatever monthly, quarterly accounts. This is what they're going to show. So from your point of view, this will produce a model for going to the bank, evidence the fact your model works. Blah, blah. Now, on that basis, what's the profit you'd like to make from each shop or each restaurant? That's going to be whatever it is, £100 a year. So actually having stronger figures, having figures that are going to evidence that, well, that's going to be worth, I don't know, £500 a month. I don't know what sort of numbers you're talking about, but it's so. Or for £500 a month, what else are you going to get for it? You want to get your team to do it. They're going to not do things they're good at. It's going to be a mess. It'll be harder for us to do the accounts anyway. So always, with the way we talk about it, is what's in it for you. Now there are some people who don't value their time very highly, and that's never, and they're never going to sort of do it. But if you think actually, well, if this is going to free you up X number of hours a week, and it's going to be done better, where do you see the business going forward? And so I think it's really just listening. They've been typically quite, I say, easy sales, because people are so much better off when it's been done.
Yeah.
I think we've also said to people, look, try it for 3 months, see what you think. I haven't completely de-risked it, but I would be happy to say, look, fine, it's okay. If you, at the end of 3 months, right, would you expect to charge £500, not £1,500? You know what? If you felt you've had no value, don't pay us. But so you just completely risk reverse it. I think they would see it, and it's that sort of hassle, that sort of mess. The benefits of enhancing information. Okay, zero is one bit of it, but you do a zero with a Crunchboard's front end or something. So all the KPIs that come off it, the amount you're doing on food, the number of copies that are sold, or whatever. Obviously, you can link that through to the EPOS till. You get fantastic data off that. And they can then, so you're sort of showing how, for absolutely minimal investment, they're just so much better off.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If I could add to it, what I usually do is I flip it the other way around. They want their management accounts, and they put a higher value on that. So I said, yeah, we can do that. They're quite happy to pay more for that. I know that if I do my bookkeeping right, the management accounts just pop out anyway. So I talk more about the management accounts and split the cost. So the management accounts are more expensive than bookkeeping.
Yeah, and that's I think probably the way we've initially kind of started to approach this reworking of it with the outsourcing. So by being able to do the bookkeeping, hopefully, by getting check sheets in place, discipline on both sides, making sure we can keep the bookkeeping up to date at minimal cost, we can hopefully add value to ourselves more through the production of the management accounts and get higher margins on that. But a lot of this, I think, the mistakes we've made are really around discipline and making sure that there needs to be a clear process there and penalties for the client for not delivering, and making them aware that we can't deliver if they don't deliver.
And also, I think, sorry, I was going to say that the fact that actually I just really love it. It's going to empower you so much. It is fantastic. It's, having, not having to worry about your books, not having that on your mind. The fact that it's all properly organised, it's off your desk. That's a real advantage.
Yeah.
It does need that client cooperation, because if they do not cooperate, then of course it just becomes a real hard slog dragging the stuff out of them.
Can I also jump in and ask Ian and Matt if you have any other thoughts to add to this conversation?
I've just always been quite heavily with the clients on the basis that if they're becoming bookkeepers or not doing their job, they should be focusing all their efforts in their business and making their business as efficient, as effective as they can be, and not turning themselves into pseudo accountants. Usually they buy that. Usually they buy it.
And Ian, from your side, anything that you want to add to the conversation?
I think we've got the same dilemma as you, Rick. So we don't know whether bookkeeping at the moment is profitable enough.
Okay.
We've priced it, but we're not staffing it right. And I think you've mentioned outsourcing. That might be the way for us. Or we're even looking at more apprentices, but we'd have to train them up. And so the opportunities are there, and I do get excited when we win one, and then when we win one at what I think is a reasonable fee, we sometimes don't recover as much as we should do, and it's a conundrum.
Okay.
And we'll get there. So yeah, everything that's been said makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay, good stuff. Jer, are you open for a goal from me?
Sorry, Rudy?
Are you open for receiving a goal from me? I have a little goal task to give you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you guys are working, one of your big focus here at the moment is sales, and as you've already discovered, a lot of selling is also built around creating scripts and things. The task I'm going to give you is sit down, maybe you and Colin together, and come up with a basic, so write it down. I'm looking for a basic script of how you convey this message to your clients.
Okay.
Because really what you're saying is we don't know how to say this so that the clients get it. So that's what we've got to work on how you say it and what you say. So my goal, my task for you is to go sit down with Colin, write down what you are saying, what you should be saying or want to be saying, and then I'll work with you guys on that to refine it so it gets to the point where it actually gets the message across.
Okay, yeah, appreciate that. That'd be brilliant.
Good stuff.
I think one thing, and I'd be interested again to get everyone's viewpoint on it, but I think that as an industry, we've been railroaded into cloud accounting, which is fantastic. I totally agree with cloud accounting, but the cloud isn't accounting. We're still the accountants and we're still the bookkeepers. But there's this marketing machine behind the cloud, which I think has given clients who do any bit of research the thought that I don't need accountants anymore.
But the old adage holds true, Jeff. Rubbish in, rubbish out. At the end of the day, it's innate. The cloud system does nothing until there's manual intervention from the humans to make it make sense. So I think you're right, but I think it's easily combated.
Yeah.
In fact, if you add on the Making Tax Digital, and if you go down the line, and if you can accept in any way, the system is going to be reporting directly to the tax authorities, there's all the more reason for us to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I was going through a list here, so questions up, so I've got to Jer. So Matt, I can't remember if I asked you yet, was there anything specific that you need help with right now this week?
No, you've helped me a couple of times during the week, Rudy, which I really appreciate, and it's made a difference, so I'm fine for the time being.
Okay, fantastic. And Jeff, I know we spoke yesterday, but is there anything specific that you need help with right now?
No, I just need to get through this week.
Survive it, absolutely. Okay, good stuff. Ian, can we quickly go back to you and ask you about pods and your progress with that so far, your thoughts on it, what's the latest, where are you at?
Well, we've had a few staff leave recently, and we've managed to replace some, but not all. And at the moment, we've got an audit team, an accounts team, and a tax department, and 2 pods. And they'll both be self-contained, and that they can each do everything. So it's going away from almost a specialist area, but to be all singing, all dancing. But any job that arrives, we can throw into one or the pod, and the two could work, obviously, not in isolation, but as a real team, and come together. We can look at things from a team basis. So that's what we've come up with. So we are fortunate that we have got enough people to divide into two, and that we think will help us.
Okay, and just to give the others the bigger picture here, so Ian's got a relatively smallish team, but there's really three partners to take a lot on their shoulders. And then how many people do you have in total, Ian?
There's 18 of us.
18, 1-8.
18, yeah, 1-8, yeah.
Yeah, my apologies. It's a slightly bigger team than I was thinking. So there's 18 people, of which 3 are partners. It's taken a lot of, or have been taking a lot of stress on their own shoulders. So now it's about shifting things into the pods, and therefore also being able to shift responsibility more effectively. Good stuff.
Yeah, and obviously with the KPIs, my goal was to re-establish the KPIs. We have been lax there, and reporting the KPIs by pod is, I think, will be a great spur for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a massive difference. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through everyone this round, so I think the next screen is just almost at the end. Before I ask this question, is there anyone else who wants to cover anything else during this morning session before we get to the end? So that's silence, I take as no. Okay, so what's been your biggest insight or takeaway from this morning's call? And Ian, I know David, I think this was your first time this morning that you were able to make it because you had troubles with being on time for this call before with childcare and stuff. So welcome on this morning's call. So,
thank you.
Biggest insight takeaway from this morning's call. So who'd like to go? Shall we take the same round?
Yeah, I'll just say on the feedback I got from the guys there, on the approach to how to sell the bookkeeping, so they get the script right, basically.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks, Jer. Ian, for you, biggest insight takeaway this morning?
I've actually written down the word script, so it's a tough one because nobody likes scripts, and the only script we've tried to instill in people is going back to the telephone answering. We've never tried anything else, and that would be that would help, but it would be a hard work and would have its rewards. But the word script, and just listen to Jeff and his enthusiasm and the way he probably didn't script it, but he talked through a sales pitch just now, which I found enlightening.
Absolutely. And, scripting, it's so important to give one that safety net of where to go. And to this day, I use scripts in every one of my sales meetings but it doesn't sound like a script, but there's a very clear process that gets followed because it works. Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
David, for you, your biggest insight takeaway from this morning's call?
It's as it's the first one, it just reminds me how to go and revisit and refocus, because my brain and time keeps on running away with things, and it's good to recheck.
Fantastic. Matt, let's go to you. Biggest insight takeaway this morning?
Biggest insight today, as evidenced by Jer's comment as well, but I feel the same, is the power of the group and the power of the networking. For instance, I've said today that the biggest project I've got is making tax digital, and Jeff's willing to help us. And for me, that is fantastic. That's the biggest takeaway for me, without a doubt.
Okay, fantastic. Good stuff. Thanks very much. And then, Jeff, over to you as the last person. Biggest insight takeaway this morning?
Yeah, I think it's this group. It's a good. We're all on it. We're all properly taking our businesses forward, and that's really good. I'm sort of everyone else is a lot cooler with getting their tax returns done than me. Is a bit levelling, and I've got to make sure we get on with that. But there's a lot of talent. It's also, I love the way that you just get so many people looking at the same thing, but
yeah, good stuff. Okay, hey, thank you very much for sharing that. And then that leaves me to say thank you very much for joining this morning's call. Have yourselves a fantastic week. If you're on tax returns, I do trust and hope that they'll all get finished on time. Have yourselves an amazing time. And if you get stuck with anything, give me a shout. That's what I'm there for. Otherwise, we'll be in touch soon again. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Rudy.